I didn't know that you can play the piano. You're full of surprises, McPizza.
I replied to her as I stand up and make my way over to the entrance. I can't play. My fingers aren't good enough for any instrument, it seems, not to mention that this heap of junk must be totally out of tune by now. Luce blocks the path to the doorway with both a penetrating stare and voice.
Then what were you trying to do, if I may ask?
I sigh in answer while I gesture for her to get out of the way. The same thing that some untalented girl does when when she tries to draw. Man, the grammar and the words are getting bad now. Luce smiles, moving aside to allow me to pass.
Yours or theirs?
No, theirs, because that sentence, the two words were backwards, so I almost read it wrong because they put it wrong.
Oh. You should be more polite to that lady, Calzone. She's quite talented.
I'll keep that in mind for after she decides to call me by my name. And what's the deal with Italian food names today?
Nothing, I'm just hungry.
A giggle echoes within the deserted hallways as we return to the library, cheering me up about the unfounded worries I had suffered this very afternoon. Well, do you know what time it is? I was about to leave.
Come on, it's always you that's running late. I had some stuff to do today, so I was a bit late myself, but nothing too bad.
A bit? I'd like to know what had you so busy that it made 3 hours seem to only be a bit late.
Oh, that is late. I would have left by then. If I could tell you, I wouldn't have to call it stuff.
What happened to that philosophy of yours about sharing secrets? Are you going to tell me that some are more valuable than others?
Secrets are as valuable as your determination to protect them.
Gee, thanks a lot. You know what's not a secret? That I'm going home. It's late and your stomach is already growling. We don't have electricity and you can't see anything once it's dark outside, so it's not like there's anything else to do.
You're leaving already? I'd at least like to see if you progressed yet, and I can show you some of my drawings.
Look at the spot you usually sit at. It takes a second for Luce to understand, but once she realizes it, she finds a plastic folder with some sheets of paper inside of it.
It's the second chapter. You told me that you didn't even start it.
It's not like I was especially inspired, but I managed to write something. You can tell me what you think later.
Pretty sure it's going to be dense and pretentious like the first chapter.
If you're going to be like that, then give it back.
I never said that it was a bad thing. Also, if you'd been waiting all day to show it to me, that must mean you wrote it lovingly.
I couldn't care less. I told you that I was about to leave.
But you didn't, and that means something. Now I just need you to show me the story that you used to win the writing contest. The one you never wanted to talk about.
How do you know about that?
I have my sources. What did you think?
Okay, this conversation is over. See you.
Oh my, I'm going with you. So don't get angry. It's so easy to make you upset that I can't resist, you know?
Then tell me who told you that.
It's a lot more fun if you try to solve the mystery on your own, isn't it? That's why I'm looking into you. I've already told you that I'd figure out what you meant when you said that writing's a necessity for you.
If my opinion counts, you can take all the time in the world.
How about I reveal to you who my source is, and in exchange, you show me the story you wrote for the writing competition that you won.
I'd rather find the culprit by myself than indulge you any longer. You could read the story and then refuse to tell me who the source is. I can't trust you at all. I agree. Go, Andy. Go ahead.
As you wish, but I'll leave the offer open in case you get tired of searching. You aren't the only one who fulfills their promises, so have some faith in me. Just so you know, I don't believe that two people can truly be friends until they share a promise.
First they share a secret, now it's going to be share a promise. I thought it was a secret that you had to share.
Next it's going to be share a lie. Well, that's just between you and I.
Is it gonna show us if we're on a chapter yet?
It's story time.
Reaching the Sun, Chapter 2. Icy. Oh, okay. So foretold the tales that once upon a time there was a wolf without a past or memory who wanted to reach the sun. Along the path he traveled, the wolf wanted to quench his thirst and fatigue by a stream. There he came across a brightly colored snake whose scales resembled a rainbow. The chatterbox reptile initiated conversation, ignoring the differences between reptiles and mammals. The wolf considered that she might be an illusion, for how could it be possible for anyone to have such boundless energy under the intense sun? An idea came to the wolf's mind before he could find an answer to his question. Could it be that the snake knew how to reach the sun? He had nothing to lose, and so the snake said the following.
Reaching the sun, are you not already hot enough? You seem so distant and reserved. In truth, that was the last thing I would have expected to hear from you, but listening to you makes me happy. The snake chuckled, making the wolf regret ever asking a question in the first place. My name, however, is Icy. As I am cold-blooded, but don't I look warm in your eyes? I'm good at keeping company, said the reptile as she coiled around the wolf's legs. And what's your name? Are you cold or hot? I'm just a wolf, he answered, and that's what you can call me if you wish.
Oh, the multicolored snake peered across the landscape with her gaze upset by such a dull answer. Too cold for a warm-blooded animal you are, though they do say that opposites attract. The long reptile wrapped herself around the wolf, hissing with her tongue, and the mammal, made nervous by such behavior, asked Icy to keep it short. Ah, yes, the sun. From where I come, the desert, the sun is relentless. If what you wish is to find it, then it should probably be around here. The closer you are, the hotter it gets, don't you think? That's how I feel as I touch your skin. The wolf started to feel awkward and worried. He knew about poisonous snakes and was scared of falling victim to such games, so he decided to excuse himself as quickly as he possibly could. So soon you can see the sun any time, but we may never meet again. Icy fell back to the ground, slightly depressed. Jeez. Also, I'm not so sure that you will be able to find it. Don't you think that it's too much for someone of your species? The wolf ignored the snake and her endless chatter. He said goodbye, thankful for her help, and left as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Icy was upset for having to bid farewell to a newly acquired friend so soon.
The sun of the desert was big, huge, colossal. The sand would burn and slip through his fur. His throat was dry, and his strength was draining from him with each passing step. Despite all that, he continued on, dune after dune, searching for a place where the sun might be a little closer to him. Such a pity that the pattern would only repeat infinitely. Each achievement would only give the same prize. The only difference was how the sun would become more ruthless. What did he do to deserve that? Why that punishment? Something so cruel couldn't possibly bring any joy. The wolf fell to the ground, weakened and defeated. The sand started to cover him little by little, and he thought that he'd die there, buried until eventually melting away on that very spot. The snake was right. He was a warm-blooded animal, so that's why he lost before it ever began. And now he could only close his eyes and give up.
Later on, however, he woke up when he felt a breeze that was different from the others. It was cold. The wolf opened his eyes and realized that night had come. Nights in the desert were cold, contrary to the days. He looked towards the sky, and there once again was the moon, bringing to him a present that his plentiful fur needed in saving his life. Now he could only smile, happy for the company that the moon was offering him. What could he do in return for her, he wondered. So he gathered air in his lungs and raised his head, determined. And a resounding howl covered the sea and the skies with profound gratitude. So foretold the tales that once upon a time there was a wolf without a past or memory who wanted to reach the sun. Still no name of chapter. Whatever. Getting out on the wrong side of the bed. It's an expression used to justify it when you act grumpy after waking up. Even if there
Oh, I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
didn't finish that. Just go back.
I'll go back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Got ahead of myself.
Yes, you did. Ah, you went 2 backwards.
There.
Okay, thank you. No, now turn that off. Okay. Even if there's no real proof to back up its legitimacy. People were quite superstitious in the past when it came to customs, so blaming getting out on the wrong side of the bed as being the source of your problems was normal. Even something simple like having a cloudy day like today would be considered an ill omen. Nowadays, nobody really takes those customs seriously, but it doesn't change the fact that you can still use them when you get the feeling that nothing will go as expected. Truth is, I don't know from which side of the bed I got out on this morning, left, right, or I just rolled off wrapped in the sheets, which happens more often than it should. But in its place, I got something even worse, a call from Ozzy asking if I could visit him and let him copy my notes from school. It seems that he copied the wrong ones last time. Do I think that something like that's considered an ill omen? Of course not. I know it is. The first sign that validates my suspicion appears even earlier than expected. Over this past week, I've had coincidental meetings pretty much every single day with a certain short but loud-mouthed girl named Claire. I don't even know how she manages to magically appear every time. In any case, all I know is that it's impossible for me to try and figure out her real intentions.
She's a wizard.
Oh, I like how from the street it switched over to this place. Okay, now you have to tell me something. What was the meaning of those emails? All of them were cryptic sounding. Why was that?
You offend me, Sirion. Now I must ask for a slushie to compensate for such a despicable attack.
You've already got ice cream for the same reason. Stop trying to spend all of my money.
It's not a real date if the man doesn't pay. Can't you understand something so simple?
So this is a date and I didn't even realize it? Can you please stop complicating things and give me an answer?
What do you think?
Don't answer with a question.
Well, I won't deny that I was trying to make them sound mystical and intriguing. That's it, more or less. Now, my slushie, please.
You're impossible. No, I'm not gonna treat you to anything, no matter how offended you pretend to be. But I do know a good place for slushies, so we can go there if you want.
Deep, like really deep down, you're a good person, right, Sirion? Everything else is a facade.
I'm done. No slushie for you.
It was a compliment, don't get mad. Boo! You must be the only person in the entire world who gets angry when they're praised.
And now it's switching over the street again.
Oh, I guess it was a past encounter.
Remembering our past encounters, I open the front gate, wondering when and where Claire will appear in front of me today. Spot on. Of course, my answer is in front of me already.
There you are, Sirion. I've been waiting for you. I was starting to think you'd never leave.
Hi, Claire. One quick question before I suffer from an embolism. Can't you tell me what the heck you're doing at my house?
Well, I wanted to see you. What else could it be? You're such a dummy. Every new question you ask me is stupider than the last.
Normal people usually ring the doorbell instead of waiting in front of a house that they weren't invited to visit. That, and considering your track record, well, are you by any chance climbing up nearby trees to spy on me with a pair of binoculars or anything?
Don't be ridiculous. Trees are too tall and it's dangerous.